Tracy Sews, Tracy McGuffrish here, Dayton, Ohio. I am here to show you the final dress that I made for Ruby Randall, her Native American regalia dress. I don't know that I want to shoot this with my head cut off. You know how professional I am. I really just don't have time to devote, since I actually have a full-time job doing alterations for people, to make the videos. But I do like to share with you. So I don't know if you remember a few weeks ago when I talked about making a muslin first. So I made the muslin. Ruby came in and tried it on, and she needed it cinched in at the waist, or that's what she wanted. So we took it in 3 inches at the waist, and then the sleeves were too long. She told me that a lot of times sleeves are too short, so I erred on a longer side and they were too long. But this was how we tested and made sure we were on the same page with everything. Then she so kindly picked out her own fabric and her trim and all of her things and brought those to me. I drew up first what we were making, and I think I said all this in the first video, but in case you didn't see that video, and then I had the task of making her dress this week. So that was really exciting. So I'm gonna give you some tips on what I did to actually make this really easy. So the pattern was actually pretty basic. It's an A-line dress with a bust dart, a back shoulder dart, and just regular long sleeves. So it was really nothing crazy about it except for the chevron motifs. She'd sent a picture of a Native American regalia dress. She's Native American. That she wanted to wear to some events, and said, you know, I would like this dress. So I had a picture, and I just broke the picture down and said, okay, basically this is an A-line dress with chevrons and ribbons on it. So once we did that, I have, and I don't know if you can see, these just have Sharpie markings of where the chevrons are. So I was able to have her put it on and say, are these markings where you want them? And she said yes, and approved that. So that was another step. So once I got to where I just had the front cut out and I had the bust darts in, I had the joy of making all of these. So I'm gonna give you a few tips on how I made them and how I made them really, really, really easy and look really professional. So the first thing I wanted to do was use this color, this blue-green color thread, as top stitching with my industrial machine. It makes great, beautiful top stitches, and I wanted to use it to showcase my scope. So that was the first thing that I did, was like, I can use one thread, one color for the whole dress if I do that as well. So that saves time. Then I took and I cut 3-inch strips out of her calico cotton that she picked out. So it was about 44 inches for each one, and I decided that I would cut 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strips, and made sure that I had enough ribbon. So I had to do a little bit of math, made sure I had enough ribbon. If you hate math and you're not good at it, you can just take your ribbon off of the spool and pin it onto the strips that you think you're gonna need. Err on the side that you might need more, so just a little bit extra. And then I took my strips and I took my ruler and I marked with chalk 1/2 inch from each side, so that I had a template and I wasn't just guessing to lay the ribbon down and top stitch. So I laid the ribbon down and top stitched just on those 44-inch strips. I hadn't mitered any of them yet. They were just straight long strips with top stitched satin ribbon on them. Okay, so once I got all 5 of those done, I again checked and made sure I had enough for everything we wanted to do. So I actually laid the pieces out and took pictures and sent them to her along the way. Then I went ahead and took this front bodice dress piece and I folded it in half and I pressed a crease, and you can kind of see it still right down the middle, so I knew where the exact center of that was. Okay, then I set that aside, went back to my 44-inch strips that have ribbon sewn on one side, or on the top and the bottom, but not this edge. That's where they're sewn to the dress, is all of this edge. I took each one of those 44-inch strips, I folded it in half, and I have a gridded mat on my cutting table that has a 45-degree angle, or if you have a triangle, you can use that too, a triangle ruler. You could use that, or some rulers do have the triangle marks. I know my Omni cutting edge has 45-degree marks. So I went to each piece that was folded face to face and I chalk marked 45-degree angle, and then I pinned it and folded it out and made sure I had it going the right way to make the chevrons. Then I went over to the sewing machine, sewed it, cut off that extra excess, and started laying it out on the fabric. Now here's the thing. Can you tell that this one is not at a 45-degree angle, that it's at a different angle? It looks like it's the same, and it looks like going over the bust that it could be an illusion. But to get this one to go up into the shoulder and not into the armpit, I had to change this one and do it a little different. And I kind of just took a chance and tried a little bit and said, let's see if this works. Like a half of an inch off, and see if this pulls this more to the sides and less to the underarm. It would not have worked at the 45-degree angle right here. But I didn't want to do it so much as to mess it up so that it looked different from the others. So I just took a ½ inch right here at the top and then graded it back into the same as the others. So that worked out. She could wear jewelry or a statement piece right here, and it shouldn't interfere if she wants to do that. At the end, I really only had a couple extra scraps right here, and since this was exactly one band, 145-degree band, I had a couple scraps right here, and then I put them in the bag for her to take home of all the extra pieces and all the stuff that she can do whatever she wants with. So the next thing was getting it all on the dress. So I have my center line and I have all my chevrons. I lay them out on the pieces, and I lay the center first, and I pin all of the centers so that they're on that pressing line. And then I measured in between all of these to make sure they were 1 1/8 apart. And then I pinned them like crazy because this ribbon is super shifty. The foot will push it all around and cause it to wrinkle. It's really, it's really like challenging to deal with, I thought, because it will waver and everything. So I pinned about every 2 fingers. So there was, I'm gonna guess, about 200 pins in all of this. That's probably what took the longest, measuring and pinning. And then I came over to the machine and used that same blue stitching and stitched it down, not removing the pins until I get right up against them. So that took a long time. I would like to say it's perfect, but it is not perfect. I have one little spot where it's 1/4 inch off right here. I have no idea why. I chopped and measured the same distance from both. And that could be that when I chalked this piece, I didn't have it all the way the right amount, that it was just slipped and got a little off. So when those things happen, it's not so apparent. at the sides of the dress, but it'll be apparent if anything matches up. Luckily, this motif is only on the front. It didn't have to reach around to the back of anything to match up, but this side matched up perfectly. And I have no idea why. And sometimes you just have to remember, nothing is ever perfect. No matter how much you try, it's not going to be perfect. So this wound up being a really long video. All right, well, thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye.